KGAB's Wyoming Wake Up with Glenn Woods and Cheyenne News with Doug Randall. Filtered for accuracy through the handlebar mustache of truth. AM 650 KGAB.
908, 28 degrees, clear skies. It's AM 650 KGAB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Sitting in the studio with me, Linda Heath, who's county commissioner. I always want to say city council when I look at you. I'm like, no, you're county. What am I doing?
Thank goodness.
It's okay, yeah. The big office, the big leagues up here.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And you brought Chuck Trimble in here, who is, it says here 911 crank calls. And right away I thought I was in trouble for something. It's just a radio show. I swear. They're calling me, okay? So what's going on?
Well, we've had a lot of issues with crank calls coming into our 911 center, and brought Chuck in today because he wants to speak to that and make the public aware of how much time is being wasted with these calls. And he knows better how to address it than I do, so I kind of came along for the ride, and
That's fine.
If there's any questions that I can answer,
that sounds good.
Give it a shot.
Let's go ahead and take a look
Chuck.
at this, Chuck. First thing is, and I've argued with people about this before, 911 is not the main number for the police.
Correct.
Okay, so it's only to be used like if I had a heart attack or somebody's mugging me, then I can call 911.
Exactly. It's for life-threatening emergencies, something that needs some kind of an immediate assistance. I mean, when we're talking about life-threatening medical emergencies, we mean things like, chest pain, difficulty breathing, uncontrolled bleeding. It's not for your stub toes and your hangnails and, that kind of thing.
So if I went through the drive-thru at McDonald's and they did not give me the special sauce.
Right.
That is not a 911 call, as has happened in the state of Florida. I'm ashamed to say we're on.
We actually just had one not too long ago.
Really?
Yes, somebody went through a drive-thru and didn't get part of their order, and they saw that as a larceny and wanted to report the theft.
And that was here in Cheyenne?
It was,
okay,
absolutely.
See, when you get those, I have your card now. I want you to immediately get a hold of me so we can talk about that on the air, because that's just great radio.
Well, that's part of the reason why I'm here. Starting tomorrow and for the entire month of November, we're going to be doing a public education campaign against the misuse and abuse of 911.
Yeah.
I actually do have, this isn't cleaned up. I can get you a copy of it. I do have printouts here of some of the comments that some of our telecommunicators have made when they did classify a call as an abuse call. Just last month, we had somebody call 911 to ask what channel the Broncos game was on.
No, that's an emergency.
Come
on.
Well, I don't know. Just being a Broncos fan, I think should be cause for some kind of a citation.
Yeah, you would think,
but a lot of what we actually get anymore is people calling 911 as directory assistants, looking for other phone numbers.
Okay.
And
that's a different 11 number.
That is 411, absolutely, or Google,
sure,
or Siri, or whoever else you need to call. I actually ran some numbers. This all came about. My primary job as the assistant director of the center is technology.
Yeah.
I was running some numbers for my boss, the director, and I happened to see a comment in one of the calls that somebody had called 911. Their phone wasn't working properly and wanted us to call their mother to have their mother stop by on the way home. And I thought, surely this is a joke. This has got to be somebody was just having fun.
Yeah.
So I started running a report for all of the calls that we've classified as 911 abuse since January 1. And I was appalled. I had no idea. I have, in my job, I've been removed from the actual operations of the center for about 3 years. And I saw this, and I about fell out of my chair. So I ran some other numbers. The last 2 years, we've averaged about 1,800 to 2,000 abuse calls a year. And that's folks knowingly calling 911 when it's not an emergency. This isn't folks that say, well, there's an accident, but nobody's injured kind of thing. I mean, that's still a little bit of an emergency. May not be necessary for 911, but I mean, that's still an incident where we should send somebody.
Let's be careful to classify them in several different ways. Okay, so there's those people who just made the mistake. They called 911, but it's not technically an emergency.
And we actually have another classification for that.
Okay.
We have different classifications for use of the 911 system.
Yeah.
Of course, we have your actual calls that are coded out into the system and then dispatched, either fire, EMS, or law enforcement. But then we also have abuse, misuse, accidental dials, or unintentional dials.
Okay.
So we do have those calls. Well, I was dialing 9 to get the front desk, but accidentally got 911.
Okay, so there's people
That
who
would
we
be
can
a misdial
forgive.
or an unintentional. Correct.
I can forgive those people.
Exactly.
Then there are those people who...
We are focusing on the flagrant violators.
Okay. Now, and here again, I want to sort of split up the classification
Right.
because there's somebody who makes the call that's just bizarre, like, can you call my mother?
Right.
But when you go to meet those people, are they, in a sense, just bizarre themselves? I mean, there's something wrong upstairs.
Sometimes we do have some people with diminished mental capacities. We have one lady here in town that likes to call on Saturday night to get the time. She's elderly. I don't want to speculate on what medical condition she has, but, you know, that's... It does tie up a resource that should be available for other emergencies.
But considering her condition...
But considering the condition, this is not somebody we're going to send a sheriff or an officer out to cite them for abusing the system.
Okay.
We may work through the sheriff's department or police department to educate them and find other means for them to get help, but we're certainly not going to be pursuing any kind of criminal charges.
Okay, then there's the other kind of mental disorder where they just think it's funny.
Those are the ones we're actually going to be going after.
Okay.
Wyoming does have a specific state statute that makes it a misdemeanor to knowingly call 911 when you know you don't have an emergency. The penalty is up to $750 and or 6 months in jail. We have never really pushed for that. It has recently been used. I need to follow up with the courts to see what was actually done with those.
Okay.
So we're going to take the month of November, and we're going to educate everybody through our social media presence. We're going to be partnering with the police department, sheriff's department, the fire districts, and the fire department to get the word out. We may produce a couple of videos and put those out as well, plus working with the local media, just radio, print, and TV to get the word out. And then in probably the first week of December, we're going to start asking for law enforcement to actually cite under state statute for
does
abuse of the system.
Does that include drunk dialing? Because you know that somebody has a few too many.
Well, and that happens, and we will make allowances for certain things. We're looking more at our flagrant violators. To give you an idea, these numbers are good as of the 29th of October. Our telecommunicators have answered 122,583 phone calls already this year.
Wow.
Of those, 24,900, give or take, were actually on 911 lines. Almost 10% of those have been abuse calls. We are sitting right now to be on track for 22 to 2,500 abuse calls this year, this calendar year.
Is there an average time that a call takes, even when it's an abuse call? I mean, how long does the operator?
About 2 minutes for the abuse calls.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, we have actually helped create this monster to a certain degree. When folks do call 911 for something that they think is an emergency, but it's not, vandalism that happened 2 days ago, we have always told our telecommunicators, give them the 7-digit non-emergency number that they can call. But that we did that with an intent of educating.
Sure.
But people have taken that now as, well, I can just call 911 and get the phone number.
Yeah.
They'll give me what I need. So it's going to be a painful process for our people. They like to help. That's why they're in the business. And now we're going to be asking them, for those that call in and say, oh, it's not an emergency, I just need a phone number, they're going to be told to use the internet, use directory assistance, use 211, 411, 511 for road conditions, and to get them off of the 911 system. Now, for those that are calling for a valid concern, if it's deemed to not be an emergency, we will still give them the phone number. We're not just going to be ruthless and heartless about this whole thing. We do understand that there are extenuating circumstances sometimes, but we do want to still educate the proper use of the system.
Grab your headphones real quick and see if this caller is for you. This is Glenn, who's on the phone.
This is your Carpenter Connectioner, Mr. Woods.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I understand the concern about this, but I've got some people out there in the Carpenter area, right, that need to contact the sheriff. Is there a non-emergency number for the sheriff's department?
Actually, there is. The two primary non-emergency numbers for the entire county If you need police, fire, sheriff, for non-emergency, is 637-6525. Our center dispatches for all public services or public safety in Laramie County.